Can't walk in the light if you can't see in the light, right?
Oh my god.
We should have staked him out and left him for the Glint Hawks. Damn Shadow Karja.
Oh my god.
Several years in the military and she still believes in justice.
Will you sit your patronizing ass down and paddle?
My fingers work.
Welcome back to the channel. We're going to talk about PlayStation VR 2 and Horizon Call of the Mountain. I don't like reviews. I don't like them. I don't like numbers. I don't like 2 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 9 out of 10, because what does it mean? It's all about the experience. It's all about you picking the kind of games that you like. And if you've been playing games for a long time, you know that you've played games that are 2 out of 10, 6 out of 10, 9 out of 10 that have been good, bad, and ugly. So I'm going to talk about PlayStation VR. This is the opening of PlayStation VR. Let me tell you, this is the de facto exclusive title to highlight just graphically what is possible with this new VR headset. It is breathtaking. There are so many things to talk about. I'm going to get into all of them, but I wanted to start out by showing you the introduction because it is just an amazing, amazing experience right at the start. Now, the first thing that completely blew me away was just the graphics of the game. I didn't expect VR to look like I'm sitting on a couch playing a game on the PlayStation 5. And while I will say that it isn't quite there, it's not Horizon Forbidden West levels of animation and texture detail and stuff like that. It is so close, and especially for VR, when you are just in that world, that detail just brings you into it. It is so lifelike. There are so many sensory experiences that I had just in the first 30 to 40 seconds. It completely blew me away. Right here, I actually duck because this foot looked like and felt like it was going to hit me. I knew that I wasn't in the world, but my brain was telling me, just in case, you might want to duck. You are introduced to everything that PlayStation VR 2 has to offer in this opening. The haptic feedback in the controllers, the rumble in the controller, the rumble in the headset. When that large walker walked over and hit the ground, I felt the vibration in the controllers, and then I felt it in the headset. It was absolutely incredible. There's a part where a glint hawk swoops down out of the sky and you feel it go overhead. I duck, I look up. It is so immersive. Right here, when I go under this bridge here, I actually felt this leaf hanging here. When I moved it out of the way, I felt it on the back of my hand. I cannot tell you how incredible the experience is. Just in like this first minute when you play this game, you're introduced to all of the different creatures, the wildlife. Everything feels so perfect. The movement, I cannot recommend it enough. Just this first few minutes right here sold me on the experience that I was going to have later on. Now, there are some minuses and there are a lot of pluses. So let's get the minuses out of the way first. And the one minus is one that you would think shouldn't be a minus, and it's in the actual gameplay. 70% of this game, this isn't an exaggeration, 70% of this game is climbing. And it gets to the point where it starts to feel like work. And you don't want that to happen when you're playing a video game. You want it to be fun. You want there to be more to it than actually feeling like you're doing something you don't want to do. And that's what it starts to feel like. Now, that is the one critique that I have of this game. The over-reliance on one gameplay style in a virtual world, and that's climbing. Now, there are some problems with tracking also, but not enough to detract from the experience. I feel like it's growing pains early on with a launch title for PlayStation VR. The pluses are obvious. Graphically, we talked about that already. I can't stress enough how much of a sense of immersion you feel when you're playing this game. I was completely blown away. There were times I would just stop, and I promise you, there are going to be times in this game where you'll just stop and you'll look around, because the level of detail and just the ability for it to pull you in to that virtual world is astounding. And I think they really nailed it with this as sort of the go-to launch title for PlayStation VR 2. I sort of liken this to Astrobot Playroom. Highlighting the strengths of the DualSense controller, this game highlights all of the strengths of PlayStation VR 2. This moment in particular here was absolutely incredible, seeing these mechanical alligators, just seeing how large these creatures are, because you know, when you're playing Horizon Forbidden West, let's say, it's a great looking game, amazing game, but you really don't get that sense of scale the way you do here playing it in VR. There's also a ton of things to do beyond just the climbing. So I don't want to make it sound like you shouldn't pick up this game, but I want to be clear, 70% of the game is climbing. So you're climbing up cliff faces, you're climbing down cliff faces, you're climbing up ropes, you're shimmying across wooden beams to then reach out to handholds. So within that climbing mechanic, there's things to do that are different, but you're still climbing. I would have liked to have more things to do in terms of just the exploration. And there are times, for instance, in the snow levels where you really get that sense of presence, and just walking through these levels, looking left, looking right, interacting with some things on the ground. That's where I think this game, and VR in particular, really shines, because it pulls you into that world. It grounds you into the fact that there's this imaginary world that you may be actually in. This moment here, absolutely incredible. Watch this. This alligator comes through the pier here, and it's literally right in my face. I mean, absolutely one of the standout moments in the game. And there's several of moments like this. So one of the critiques, again, climbing, way too much climbing, 70% of the game. Why did I stop and talk like this? All of a sudden, we're channeling William Shatner. Tons of climbing. And I feel like they should have cut that down quite a bit and given you more to do in the game beyond just that. However, if you're looking for something to put in and play with PlayStation VR 2 on day one that highlights most of what you're going to experience with this headset, to highlight the differences between the headset and PlayStation VR, the first iteration, this is the game you're going to want to purchase. And of course, if you're a fan of the world of Horizon, you're going to want to play this too. And yes, you do meet Aloy in the game. So if I had to say whether or not anyone should purchase this game to play with their PlayStation VR 2 headset, I would say it's an absolute must play. So let me know what you think if you played this game in the comment section below. Your comments, your critiques would be appreciated. If you would, think about liking and subscribing to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video.